Alright guys, I've been getting kind of bored a little bit. Not at fault. I mean, it's nothing's fault. It's nobody's fault. I just kind of wanted to change it up with this video. Um, so let me just start off by saying I'm actually planning on tagging some people. I wrote their names down here. So, of course, we have my best buddy, Super Steel Steve. Excuse the terrible handwriting. I'm actually from Ohio, and they don't teach us to write good out here. Um, and then in the pocket, he's kind of a similar sized channel. I just think he's an all around good dude. He seems like a really like wholesome ass dude, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I just grew to like his videos. And then BP69, man, you are the first fucking one to comment all the time, and I never see any videos come up from you. I don't know if you just don't want to make videos. Maybe you do. Maybe you're nervous too. I know I was. Maybe I mean it's fucking weird making videos, guys. Like there's nothing more weird than being told your whole life like don't fucking talk to yourself. That's weird as fuck. And then to just all of a sudden one day get up and decide to go talk to yourself. Um, it's really an adjustment that I'm even now still trying to make, honestly. So today's video is going to be about, I kind of came up with a couple, I don't know. I don't know what you would call it. Parameters. Um, so pretty much here, um, I came up with 5 categories of knives and I wrote them down on this same piece of paper. Alright, so we have the Grail. So in 2018, one Grail I got, a tank, a knife that was super fucking beefy, that just seemed like it was all around. It wasn't like too much going into the lock and then it had like a thin blade or whatever, or like the lock mechanism was appropriate for the handle if you were to use it in a hard use setting. um, what I mean by tank, a lot of people are going to take it out of context with that explanation I just gave, so I'm going to revoke that. It's the most practically tough knife I own. So like it's not just like a 5 millimeter thick tie frame lock. It's like it's literally just like a really practically good tank. All right, so the Performer, the knife that I deem works uh, in terms of slicing and uh, cardboard cuts, the best. And the Shocker, that's going to be whatever knife I was not expecting to like at all. And then my overall favorite for the 2018 year. Guys, make a response video or whatever you call it these days. Super Steel Steve in the pocket and BP69, you are optional because I don't know if you're like anti making videos. But these other two, go like spam their video if they don't do it. All right, so I'm gonna start with the Grail. Okay, so this was kind of a big year for me in terms of Grails. I got a lot of knives that I just never thought I would ever get. I mean, the community, the knife community, jeez, I can't talk, um, is one of the nicest communities I've ever experienced. Coming from like the fitness industry and stuff like that, like people, I was like scared. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Um, but with help from a couple people, I actually managed to get a lot of knives that I've wanted for years and years and years and years. Um, and I couldn't have done it without them. Most of them are from Instagram. I actually haven't done a sale on YouTube at all. So what I'm looking at for Grail knives is kind of a knife that is a little bit harder to find. Um, Maybe it's been discontinued for a while. You don't see them too often, or just, in my case, it's just a knife that when I was younger, I fell in love with, and because I was 15 or 16 or whatever, I couldn't afford it. And you know, that's a hard one because you have the tilt here. I mean, that's a knife. I saw J Davis 882. By the way, he just made a video um recently after a long hiatus from the knife community. So I really enjoy his videos. I think he back in the day made a lot of good points. Um, and I know you guys are probably thinking this is my grail, but seriously, ever since I was I think 15, I saw this and I thought like, oh, there's no fucking way I'm ever gonna get that knife. I was kind of when I was 15, I was a troubled child. Um, like I just I got in a lot of trouble, and I was pretty broke. I wasn't on a good path, and I was kind of expecting the worst for myself. And I mean, I got this new job now. It's paying the bills. I mean, these are all like, I mean, I'm not. The lights aren't getting cut off for these. So that's something that I'm super proud of. And this was kind of just like, I got this actually as a birthday gift to myself for my 21st birthday this year. And it was so incredible. Like, the guy that sold it to me, I actually hit him up almost every day now. His name is at PNW Knives. He hooks it up. He's my Kershaw ZT guy. He got me this. Oh, what a fucking fantastic knife. Sorry guys, I know that all 0% of you that are under the age of 18 watching this are pretty offended. Anyway, yeah, so it's gotta be the 0560. I actually owned a 0560 back in the day. And I liked it, but it was pretty rough on the scales. The titanium fit and finish was actually a lot different than this. So yeah, this has to be it. I mean, the tilt is a close second. What else? The S90V military. I never thought I'd own an S90V milli ever. So next up is the tank, and a lot of guys are probably expecting me to pick, the ZT-0300. I'm actually not going to go with this one. I'm going to go with this other one right here. So this is the 0350. I owned one of these as a kid. I bought a PM2 when I was 13, and then I bought or maybe I was 14, and then when I was 15, I bought a 0350, and I always loved both of them. Originally, I saw a picture of one of these on Instagram, and I had no clue that that was ever a knife. I never knew that they made a ZDP or an LMAX version, because typically ZT doesn't do sprints. And guys, I realize I talk a lot of shit about ZT, but this is one of their knives. It's so humble, it's so clean, it's so no BS, and it's so stout. Like, but it's not overdone. It's not compensating for anything. That's all I can say. Like, it's a 3.25-inch blade. It's as beefy as it needs to be. It's got a stout tip. It's a good cutter, even though it is a hard use knife. And overall, it just kind of takes the tank spot. And that's going up. I own the 300. I own the tie frame lock version of this knife that's bigger, beefier. I owned, I own the Lion Spy, a 4.5 mil thick LMAX blade. And I have to say, practically speaking, for what I do day to day, this is about as good as it gets. I mean, I've pride with this knife. This knife in ZDP, I have pride with this one. And it held up phenomenally well. I also pride with the LMAX. Usually I pry with the LMAX, not the ZDP. I actually thought I was prying with the LMAX when I pried with that knife. And otherwise I wouldn't have done it. But um, so what's next? What knife really fucking shocked me when I started cutting with it this year, for 2018? Um, there's been a couple. There really have. Just because I feel like I kind of talk about only expensive knives, or knives over $100. This knife shocked me. Um, this is one that I got from P&W Knives. I got it for stupid cheap. It's a blem. I think it's a blem because the lockup is at like 5%. Um, but I spine whacked it and it doesn't fail. So I did that intentionally. Like normally I wouldn't spine whack a knife. But because it was at 5%, I actually wanted the lockup to go later. That's why I spine whacked it. But it didn't work. This knife is significantly thinner than any of the other knives that I have on the table behind the edge. It's a high flat grind and it cuts extremely, extremely well. It's actually wearing a 30-degree edge right now, and you can see it's a very thin bevel, and that's typically an indicator that a knife is ground fairly thin. A lot of times with ZTs, you'll find that, sorry guys, I have to itch my arm, bringing in close. Sorry about that. You'll find that when you resharpen them, they get a thicker bevel. What's next? What's next? The Performer was taking, or no, it's not this. I have to say it's this. This knife, all in all, has one of the most utilitarian blade shapes I've ever experienced. It is one of the most comfortable knives that I've had the pleasure of testing in my rope cut test. There's no jimping, but the handle gives you enough traction to where you don't feel like you're missing anything. The knife is beyond smooth, but if it was just this blade shape on a Griptilian, it would still win. It still would have won. The 20 CV, I like 20 CV. It's good stuff. Benchmade's heat treat, as you guys know. I mean, if you haven't seen Steve's video, they tend to do a little bit better of a job than Spyderco. But all in all, I feel like Benchmades typically have a little bit better performance than ZTs and even a lot of Spydercos. So the Anthem, this was also a gift for my girlfriend, so I guess it kind of goes in the sentimental category too. So that knife was definitely huge for me this year. So the shocker, what's a knife that I didn't expect to like? Well, when I bought this knife, the guy said, "Hey, I'll give you a combo deal. Just pay me like whatever." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll just flip that one. Like, I'm just going to keep this knife and I'll sell that other one." Well, turns out that this little 3-inch blade, 4mm thick, lion steel with a convex grind, has been in my pocket almost every day this week. Guys, this knife is so underrated. It cuts phenomenally well. It's a Teflon washer, steel lock insert, tie frame lock from Italy, and I actually fucking don't hate it. I love this knife. It's got a fat blade. It's off center a little bit. It makes it look a ton worse because the handle scales are different colors, and I mean, you can see it's split 50-50. The clip is phenomenally, I mean, it's just so well done. It's a smaller knife. So for size, so basically that's a Delica compared to it. So as you guys see, it is a pretty small knife, but this knife has to take it. It's got the roto block Roto block kind of sucks. I wish I could tighten it down, but for whatever reason, that screw is not moving. Um, and then, man, I can't get over this. And it's so beautiful on the titanium side as well. So just to wrap up the video, what's my favorite knife of the year? What's the overall favorite? Is it the tie frame lock version? Nope. Um, so I'm sure a lot of people were thinking like, oh, you're gonna pick the tie frame lock, blah blah blah. Or if you knew it was gonna be the military, I bet you were thinking, oh, the S90 carbon fiber tie frame lock. Now, don't get me wrong. If I had this same knife with carbon fiber handles, I would like it a little bit more, just because I think it looks a little bit better. However, I weighed it. I weighed a PM2, this guy right here. There's about a 5 gram difference between G10 and carbon fiber in that knife. So it's pretty minuscule. Strength difference, couldn't care less with this knife. This knife is strictly, I mean, it's a workhorse, guys. This is just, it's such a good design. It's so well thought out. And it's literally, it's perfect for me. I throw this in my back pocket. The blade can't open. It's right up against the seam of my pocket. I carry it like this. I pull it out. Boom. There it is. I cut up whatever I need. Maybe it's food. Maybe it isn't. And yeah, I mean, this knife honestly blew my mind. Don't get me wrong. This version is great. I love S90V. I actually carried this knife today. I have some Sharpie on it. I did a demonstration video for the Sharp Maker on how to resharpen. It's just, it weighs more. I definitely like it because it's in and out of the pocket a little bit easier. But these two are neck and neck, the G10 and the titanium carbon fiber. So overall, has to be just the military, like, period. So, Steve, in the pocket, BP69. I want to see your response videos. If I don't see them, I'm coming to your fucking house. And I'm going to put sand in the pivot of your favorite knife. And I'm going to keep doing it every day until your knife breaks. All right, guys. Have a good night. I'm getting a little too tired. So, I'll see you guys in the next video.